This video is rated G for gas.
This is Neuzeit's Drop, and at the risk of sounding overly enthusiastic, it is by far the most exciting MIDI parameter controller I've reviewed since I started this YouTube channel. It is an insanely customizable, highly playable, and ultimately satisfying tool for music making, live playing, and improvisation that offers a level of precise control and room for creativity that I can only compare to the Octatrack, but without the heavy learning curve or weird electron lingo. In this video, I want to show you what it is, what it does, and why I haven't been able to put it down since it got here. For full disclosure, Neuzeit sent me Drop at no cost for review, but they're not sponsoring this video and have no oversight into what I say or don't say here. This video does have a sponsor, the good folks at Analog Cases, but more on them a bit later. If you're already subscribed, huge welcome back, my friend. If this is your first time here, hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesis. Let's get started. Okay, so right out the gate, the amount of available controls here is massive. The Drop features 32 rotary knobs that double as push encoders, 8 buttons and 8 faders. However, you actually have double that amount since the Drop works with 2 layers, A and B, which operate simultaneously. These controls can have up to 8 MIDI targets each. So for example, you could control up to 8 different synths filter cutoffs by turning just one knob. That's all well and good, but what really sets the Drop apart isn't the sheer amount of available control. It's the clever way in which you can manage and automate several of those controls at once for insane musical outcomes. But I'll explain them in full detail when we get to that. The Drop comes in a sturdy metal casing with black and gold highlights. It feels absolutely premium, and I for one really dig the aesthetics. On the back, the Drop has a dedicated power input, 2 USB ports, one of which can be used to power the unit from a laptop or power brick, micro SD, CV in and out, 4 TRS MIDI ins, and 4 TRS MIDI outs. A really smart feature here is that the MIDI outputs can be set to be either TRS Type A or TRS Type B, which if you've suffered the headache of incompatible TRS types, it is kind of a lifesaver. On the left side of the front panel, you get this handy dandy knob that controls the speed of the jump transitions, which I'll demo in just a second. Right next to that knob are the control buttons for play, stop, tap tempo, as well as jump, drop, and snapshot edit menus. The button grid under that serves for both saving and launching snapshots, as well as inputting notes, which can be set to a scale or played chromatically. When set to DAW control, it can also launch clips in Ableton, for example. Finally, at the very bottom left, you have the fully colored main screen. The screen and the buttons surrounding it serve multiple purposes, such as letting you know where you are in the loop, when the next drop or jump is coming in, and also being your main interface to navigate all the many options that Drop has to offer. The faders and knobs have no wobble whatsoever, and the rubber gives them a nice grip and feel to them. The entire unit feels like it was made to deal with heavy abuse in live situations, and it's a good thing too, because it's really easy to get carried away when you're jamming on it. With so many physical controls here, a very understandable issue would be that you can't control all of this with just 2 hands and 10 fingers. And that's where the genius of the snapshot comes in. The concept of the snapshot itself is not a new idea. It's pretty much the same thing as a scene on an Octatrack or a parameter snapshot on Native Instruments machine, if I'm not mistaken. A snapshot will record the state of every parameter on the Drop, like every fader and knob position, as well as the button on and off states. And the cool thing is you get 20 banks of 20 snapshots, and you can morph between them, either automatically with a jump or a drop, or manually, much like the Octatrack. These can be used to act as something as simple as a safety net, where you allow yourself to explore and experiment on a live set and have a quick way of returning to a safe state of your performance. Or it can be used to create amazing transitions, moments of tension and release, and as the name suggests, well-timed drops in your music. There are 2 ways of making these transitions, which are called jumps and drops. Jumps are triggered by selecting a snapshot, and the time it takes for the transition to take place is controlled with this knob I mentioned before. That means that the jump from one snapshot to another can either be immediate, or you can stretch it out for a considerable while. The drop is a jump or transition that can be pre-programmed and is immediate. A drop will always override a jump, and you can set it as a single drop or have it repeat to a desired length. This means, for example, that you can have it set up to return to that safe spot every 4 bars and go nuts tweaking parameters in the meantime, all the while knowing it will always return on your designated beat to the safety zone. You can also change snapshots to be triggered in a specific order, so you can have everything going down, the filters cutting everything off, and then everything comes back up again. So effectively, you can plan out entire songs with transitioning parameters.
Hey, you there. Yes, you. Are you tired of playing your synths in your dusty old studio all the time? Well, worry no more and break free with Analog Cases. Analog Cases makes custom cases that are both comfortable and stylish. They have cases for everything from sensible analog polysynths to tiny overpriced groove boxes and beyond. Take your music wherever you go. With Analog Cases, we got you covered. Analog Cases does not recommend taking your synths into molten lava or into endoscopies.
Thank you so much, Analog Cases, for supporting this channel and helping me keep the lights on. Now, back to the video. I don't know about you, but one of the main reasons why I shy away from MIDI controllers in general is that initial setup usually feels like just a ton of work. Thankfully, the folks at Neuzeit must feel the same way, because the setup process here feels dizzyingly fast thanks to a few quality of life features. First is that it comes pre-packaged with a large amount of instrument MIDI CC libraries. You'll find most of the fan favorites in here, like the Artura Microfreak, pretty much all the Electron boxes, the Novation Peak, and so on and so forth. After adding an instrument, you then proceed to mapping, which in this case literally means twisting a knob or pressing a button, and you can just start looking for a destination within that CC bank of that instrument. To make this process even faster, you can move or copy a knob or fader onto another knob or fader and just change the target. For example, look at how fast I can assign fader volumes for all 8 tracks of my OPXY by just copying and pasting my settings. The drop also has MIDI Learn, which means that even if your synth is not on this list, you can easily map out the controls if your synth knobs put out MIDI messages when you're turning them. The rotary knobs are highly customizable in how they behave, such as line from center, line from left, or stepped. Clicking these same rotary knobs can also be customized to toggle, reset to middle, reset to left or right, and so on. Even the sensitivity of the knobs can be adjusted to very fast, very precise, or something in between. Same goes for the faders that give you the option of setting a maximum and minimum value, as well as stepped and smooth lines and multiple curves of behavior that you can choose from. Another great thing is that you can name everything directly on the drop without need to hook it up to a computer or additional software. And when you turn or push your controls, the screen here will let you know what you're doing. This is especially useful when you want to return to an old project and aren't really sure what control was doing what at the time. The drop also acts as a MIDI router, and you can select multiple inputs like an external MIDI keyboard or the Oxy1 or the Hapax sequencers and route them to different synths using the same MIDI channels, thanks to the merge function. Merge makes your synths only listen to certain inputs and ignore the rest. Within that merge, you can also select what MIDI channels should be listened to, as well as which ones should be ignored from that same input. Well, you might be thinking, wow, that sounds pretty complicated. And yeah, it can get pretty complex pretty fast, but I feel it's important to note that with the level of complexity that the drop can handle, the UI could have easily been a convoluted mess with an insane learning curve and just be a real headache to operate. This is very much not the case with the drop, and I have to commend the team at Neuzeit for making this feel so approachable. The end result of all of this is one of the most rewarding ways to play with your synths that I've ever experienced so far. I have turned the simplest loops into dynamic and ever-changing set pieces that I can just tweak around for literally hours, all the while having just a great time. And I have to say, when playing your MIDI controller is more fun than playing on your PlayStation 5, you know you got a winner. I've been using the drop for a few weeks now, and though I technically have the hang of it, I still feel I'm only beginning to discover all the possibilities it offers with its flexible mapping and inspired transition mechanics. I really feel this is going to be a staple of live sets in the years to come, and I think anyone remotely interested in performing with synthesizers should really give this a shot. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.